Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We got a good week coming up. A lot of stuff to talk about. We got some injuries to cover. Unfortunate injuries. We got a bye to talk about, and we also got our upcoming game prediction as well as some fantasy for you fantasy owners. But we can start first right away by kicking off with that
injured reserve.
Fantastic Eagles win over the LA Rams.
Definitely was exciting.
Was very, very exciting. Coming down from 26-7. Ended up beating the Rams 33-26. Jordan Davis with the blocked field goal and touchdown to win the game. That's the largest comeback ever at the Link.
And that's probably the only time I feel like in the Link that they've ended the game on a field goal return for a touchdown, isn't
it? I've never seen it.
I don't remember anything
I don't remember
like that
anything
happening
like
at the
that.
Link.
Yeah.
So the fact that, that's something that you never had really seen before, or at least not here at the Link. And also the fact that, just the way that game unfolded, that place erupted with emotion.
100%.
When he was running that thing back, and you saw
big
it on
man running
everyone.
it back 70 yards for a touchdown.
Dude, did you see he maxed out? I think it was Sports Science that I saw. They measured how fast he topped out at 18.5 miles per hour.
Jesus.
While running that back.
Man.
A 330-pound man.
Yeah, this dude is ginormous.
Running basically 20 miles an hour. That's breakaway speed right there.
That's insane.
I have never seen a man that large move that fast before. And not only that,
he was so
dude,
hype.
He has some great leaping ability, dude.
100%.
He can get up there.
He got up there for that blocked field goal.
And he two-hand swatted that thing.
Yeah.
With
the help of Jalen Carter.
Yeah, so
that was the second blocked kick from
second in a row.
Joshua Carter. Yeah, they blocked the kick.
They had
before they took the lead, and then after they took the lead, Matthew Stafford obviously drive them into field goal range and then blocked it again.
Yeah, and the fact that you were able to get 2 blocks basically within the final 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, which is so lucky.
Insane in and of itself.
Insane, yeah. That was a game of 2 halves. I mean,
yeah, that really was a game where the first half and
the
second
first
half
was
polar opposites.
Probably the worst showing of Eagles offense I've ever watched.
I don't completely blame the offense in the first half just because
the offense was bad.
Just because they were getting hurt by the special teams play prior to the offense going onto the field.
They could not.
The fact
they were not able to receive the little dribbler that came to them.
The fact that every time they had a punt or kickoff return in the second quarter, they muffed it.
They muffed literally everything. It was what's going on with you guys? You guys not know how to return muffed kicks?
They had a total of 5 muffs the entire game, which is absolutely
props to the
disgraceful.
Props to the kicker on the Rams, Cardi. He was able to, get the Eagles at the 10-yard line for pretty much the first half of those drives.
Yeah, and that really, I think, messed up the offense. The fact that they were constantly operating from within their own 15-yard line for 5 out of the 7
you're
drives.
Stuck with Kevin Patullo and his very conservative play calling. It was either it was just a meaningless Saquon run. Saquon wasn't getting anything. He was getting buried. He was getting maybe 1 to 2 yards a carry.
This is now the second game out of 3 where he's been held to under 75 yards. Which we're not used to seeing.
Yeah, defenses are obviously studying him more.
Yeah,
after the season he put up, it was just really bad that first half. They couldn't find a receiver, and then Saquon wasn't getting anything, and then the turnover at the start of the second half, which allowed the Rams to score, made it 26-7, and then right after that is when Hurts was fuck Kevin Pattillo. I'm going to start throwing the football. And
Yeah, you saw
he was fantastic that entire second half.
You saw some heated exchanges.
Yeah, there was some exchanges.
You saw, I think, 2 times the camera cut to Patullo and Hurts talking on the sidelines after a drive.
There was, yeah, him, Hurts, and I think Saquon.
Yeah, and they were just really, really unprepared, I feel like, in that first half. They were unprepared for the blitz that was coming at them because there was a lot of blitzes that Jalen went up against, and he started to figure it out towards the end of the second half, towards like the end of that third quarter. He's really started to pick up the blitzes, just throw to the receivers that he can trust, and
yeah, because he knows he can trust his receivers, Brown and Smith, and
right.
Obviously, that second half, Brown went from 0 receptions to 6 receptions for a touchdown. He had
and 106 yards.
Finally got a touchdown. Finally got you AJ Brown fantasy owner some points. The first 2 weeks he hasn't been good, but
of course the week that I'm going against him in fantasy,
the week you're going against him,
frickin' pop off.
And then Devontae Smith also had a really good game, caught the game-winning touchdown, had a really good fantasy game, over 20 points. Because I started him in one of my fantasy leagues, and he ended up propelling me.
I had
to a win.
Nakua in that game.
Nakua had a really good game. They were targeting Nakua a lot.
The dude who I went against had Kyron Williams, AJ Brown, and Devontae Adams all in that game.
Wow.
So
Kyron Williams had a good game too. I thought that
Kyron Williams had a great game. That's really troubling for the Eagles. The fact that they've kind of been run. They got run on with
Dallas, and now the Rams.
Yeah, and now they've been run on with the Rams.
And coming into Tampa, it's like Bucky Irving's a pretty good running back.
Right, and Rachaad White is a good
fullback.
Like, change of style for that. He's not the same type of runner Bucky Irving is.
He can get you a touchdown here and there, so.
Yeah, and they like to move him out to the flat.
The run defense looked very questionable. I benched Kyron Williams thinking that the Eagles would shut him down and maybe force some fumbles, but I was completely wrong. I sat him for Javonte Williams, and he ended up getting a fumble.
Yeah, I was expecting...
That ended up costing me my fantasy game.
I was expecting a Kyron Williams fumble because he does tend to fumble the ball a decent amount of times, and Eagles usually have a knack for, creating takeaways.
I ended up losing my fantasy game by only 4 points. If I ended up starting Kyron Williams, I would have won that game. So.
Oh, yeah, I feel your pain. I lost by 4 points as well, and if I would have started Ricky Pearsall instead of Marvin Harrison, then I would have won as well.
It's his fault that Marvin Harrison wants to drop wide open passes.
Oh, my dude. And the fact that I didn't start him last night because of his performance the past 2 weeks, and then he pops off for 19 points last night. It's like, Jesus, I can't catch a break with this guy.
That's the fantasy algorithm. Guy has 2 bad weeks. It's like, all right, I'm not playing you anymore. And then he has a few good weeks, put him back on the roster, has another shitter.
Definitely putting him back out in the starting lineup next week now.
That's what fantasy is like, so.
And stick around because we're going to have more, fantasy talk.
Oh, for sure.
Andrew's got a list of names that he's going to hit me with, and we're going to see how we feel about the whole starting and sitting situation. But
I think it's going to be good.
One thing that was nice to see, regardless of fantasy outlook or production or anything like that, was the fact that even though they were down 26-7, that defense held up in that second half.
Once the second half came, once Hurts started throwing touchdowns to Goddard and Brown, and he started hitting his receivers, the defense stepped up. They were able to stop the Rams on crucial runs, obviously block the field goals.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis looked really good getting to Stafford.
Because think about it. If they go in, they come out of the half at 20... They
came out of the half 19-7.
Yeah, 19-7.
And then they had the Hurts fumble.
And they score another touchdown, and it becomes, 37 at that point, or plus 30, 32-7, then you're basically already looking at a defeat right there. So the fact that the, defense was able to stop them after getting that first touchdown and not giving up anything else, even when the Rams had a couple of chances in the red zone, to actually, put them away, the defense never wavered. It stood tall, and they were actually able to,
And fantastic, yeah.
get big plays when they needed
Jordan
to.
Davis stopping Kyron Williams on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Which set up the Devontae Smith touchdown.
Jacorian Bennett, I saw, had a crucial pass deflection on a 3rd down, I think, to force the blocked field goal attempt. The first one.
I think that was the one where
correct.
Devontae Adams was begging for a penalty.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of, Bennett, he's him,
Smith, and Cooper going on IR. So
none of them going to be available for the next couple of weeks.
They're not coming back until after the bye week.
Yeah,
and Nolan Smith is obviously the biggest factor coming in. That pass rush is going to be depleted going into Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, not like they were getting a whole lot of sacks, but they have been getting a decent amount of pressures on the quarterback, and believe they had 7 or 8 quarterback hits against Stafford, even though they only sacked him the one time. So even though they haven't really been getting home and finishing the play with the sack, they have been able to create pressure and at least disrupt the quarterback. And without Nolan Smith, you now are down to, 3 guys where one was playing safety 2 years ago. The other was brought in here, 14 days ago? And the other one is a reclamation project that has been with 4 different teams now.
Zadarius Smith, Uche.
Yeah.
Jalix Hunt. It's going to be interesting. I mean, Zadarius Smith looked good against the Chiefs.
He did. He did look good. Only thing is, how many snaps is he going to be able to play for you per week?
Exactly.
And Fangio's already been rotating a little bit less than league average. So if you
he's going to be blitzing a lot.
Yeah, and if you throw someone that is, didn't play at all in the preseason, had no training camp or anything like that, was just keeping himself in shape through the offseason in Zadarius Smith, can you really throw him out there for 50 plays on defense?
You're going to have to make rotations.
Yeah, which means you're
one
going to
of those players is going to be Azeez Ojulari.
Yeah, you're either going to need Azeez Ojulari, Ogo Okonkwo, or Patrick Johnson to be able to step up and actually be able to, get some pressure on the quarterback and
you're going to have
not just be a non-factor.
Yeah, you're going to have these guys, come in these crucial situations and get these game-saving tackles for you.
Now, out of the guys that's going to get the actual opportunity, probably going to be Ojulari or Okonkwo. Don't really think it's going to be Patrick Johnson just because they kind of primarily use him for special teams. And I'm not entirely sure if Ojulari or Okonkwo are on the special teams team. And
Ojulari and Okonkwo, they kind of have the most experience.
Well, Okonkwo is, I believe, 2nd or 3rd year. 3rd year, maybe? But he was a late round pick. He was I believe a 6th round selection.
Yeah, Okonkwo's been in the league for 3 years, but
I think 3. If I'm not mistaken.
And then they're going to have to always use Jalix Hunt. He's going to get a decent amount of snaps.
But they've been rotating him in, most of the time it's been, or at least last week for most of the game, or I thought for most of the game up until I saw that Nolan Smith only played about 40% of the snaps. Starters, or the projected starters for that game, was Smith and Smith. Nolan and Zadarius.
And now you got Smith and company.
Yeah, now you got Zadarius Smith, and I guess your next top guy is Jalix Hunt after that. But
I guess, yeah,
this is still a guy.
Jalix Hunt the most, but
this is a guy that was playing safety 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and you're talking about him being your number 2 option right now at edge rusher. So not the greatest there. Also with Jacorian Bennett going on IR, and Adoree Jackson was in and out last week.
You going to see more of Keely Ringo?
Yeah, and I don't really know how I feel about that either.
Yeah, me neither. Because I don't think we've seen Keely Ringo in an actual game.
Now, Vic Fangio did speak, and he said that Keely Ringo is going to get an opportunity, and this was before any of the injury news came out, that he was probably going to get an opportunity sooner rather than later, and probably alluding to the fact that he knew during his press conference on Tuesday, the day before, that those three guys were going to go on IR knowing, hey, Keely Ringo is going to have an elevated role this week.
They probably know that the players go on IR before the fans.
Yeah. So he gave a little hint to that in his press conference before, the news actually was official, before anything came out on Wednesday. And now you see why he said that Keely Ringo is going to get his opportunity sooner rather than later. It's because Ja'Cory Bennett's out. And Adoree Jackson's probably not going to be playing 100% of the snaps because I think he got hurt, towards the end of the second quarter? He went down on that one play. I saw him grabbing his knee. He was a little slow to get up.
Yeah, towards the end of the game.
Yeah, so you're going to see a little rotation probably because they're not going to have Jackson in there the entire game. And that means Keely Ringo is going to get some run. And unless they plan on moving Cooper DeJean to the outside and then figuring out something else to do for slot for the next couple of games, Keely Ringo is going to get an opportunity.
Most likely, yeah. And then more injuries. There was no knee brace for Zach Bond during Thursday's practice.
That's good.
Which is good.
Dickerson's practicing still, right?
Dickerson's practicing, yeah.
Now, is he limited still or is he full go?
I think he was limited. I think Lane Johnson was practicing, which... Obviously, he didn't return for the rest of the game, and
right.
Matt Pryor was shit in the damn bed.
Yeah, and his injury is a bit concerning just because it's neck.
Yeah.
I mean, he said it's just a stinger. It's nothing really to worry about, but still, anytime you're getting hit up around that neck area.
Bond, Campbell, Jackson, and McKee were limited for Thursday, and Lane Johnson and Will Shipley were full participants.
There we go. Now, with Shipley coming back, do you think that they... use him a little bit?
I think they still use him as a second option running back.
Because you didn't really see a whole lot of A.J. Dillon over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, not that much, yeah.
And which you would expect that he probably would have had a couple of carries just to spell the workload for Saquon. But it was all Barkley.
It was all Saquon, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they don't like Dillon or...
Yeah, I don't know. That seemed to be something that stuck out to me a little bit, was the fact that without Shipley, they didn't use anyone else to run the ball other than Hurts and Barkley. Those were the only two guys.
Besides Bigsby to return balls, but besides that was it.
Yeah. They didn't have anyone, there was no end arounds, no wide receiver handoffs, the only guys that took any reps carrying the football was Barkley and Hurts. And I don't really know how I feel about that.
Yeah, especially you got to have you got to have some depth in that team.
Yeah, you got to be able to throw someone else out there that can run the ball, besides your two main feature running options in your star quarterback and your star running back. You can't just be having them run 30 attempts per game between the two of them.
I know Hurts loves to run, but
yeah,
you're going to have to start throwing the football more. I know that's for sure.
You're going to be able, you're going to have to, spell Saquon. I mean, I understand you're not rushing him 23 attempts like you were the previous year, but I mean, man still had 18 attempts and only 46 yards.
Exactly.
He was getting beat up.
He was getting beat up.
He was getting beat up. So even though he only had 18 attempts, he was getting hit by probably 3, 4, 5 different guys on all of those attempts. So it'll be something I'm keeping my eye on this week is whether or not Shipley gets a little bit of extra, carry, because Saquon's been getting hit a lot the past 3 weeks.
And if Shipley's going to play, then he'll definitely get some carries.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to ask real quick. Is it more important that they come out with the win or that they come out with 0 injuries from this game in Tampa Bay? With the heat being 103 degrees.
They're actually leaving on the Friday to practice on Saturday to get acclimated to the heat, which actually is a really smart move by them.
I mean, I don't really think it's going to do much.
I don't think so either, but obviously Tampa Bay is used to the heat. If we practice in the heat, hopefully we can get a little bit used to it. But my answer to this, if they were 1-2, like if they had lost to the Rams and the Chiefs, I'd probably say like you got to get a win.
Yeah.
But I know they don't usually win in Tampa often, and obviously with it being 103 degrees, you don't want players to dehydrate or players to get like a heat stroke or anything. So I'd rather them have them walk out with no injuries.
Yeah.
They don't win in Tampa. I don't think they're going to win in Tampa this year, but
I'm of the same thinking that you are, and I just wonder how many others are thinking the same way that we are.
I mean, you're still 3-0, 3-1.
Exactly.
It doesn't.
It's like, would you rather come out 3-1 or with maybe someone like Devontae Smith or something like that hurt? Or, I mean, would you rather come out 4-0 and have, like, an injury to potentially, Devontae or, maybe someone on the defense?
Or maybe
like
someone
that?
on the offensive line.
Right.
Like,
or would you rather come out with the loss 3-1, but everyone's healthy?
I'd rather come out with the loss, everyone's healthy.
Yeah.
That's
I'm of
my
the same
case.
thinking. Yeah.
But if, obviously, the record was different, I'd want them to win. But I don't think they'll win. I got 31-26 Buccaneers. It'll be a close game, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win either. I got Buccaneers over the Eagles.
Baker being
27-23.
questionable, though. Baker being
He's
questionable,
gonna play.
definitely, yeah. They're saying he might play. Tristan Wirfs hurt. Mike Evans is already out.
I'm not entirely. I haven't heard anything on Wirfs, but I know he hasn't played the first 3 weeks, and
then you got Godwin, who's probably going to make a season debut.
Probably very limited snap count. He's probably only going to get like 10 to 15.
I assume so as well, yeah.
But next week, he should probably be up to around 20-something. And then the week after, he'll probably be 100% ready to go for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good addition to my fantasy team because I have him just chilling on my bench.
Chilling on the bench.
Yep. Haven't needed to use him, and I'm still 2-1.
Those are our score predictions.
Dude, I drafted him in the last round of our league. Did you realize that?
Oh, wow. That's insane.
I got
That's insane that no one took
second to last round. Because everyone started picking defense and stuff like that. And I'm like, guys, there's still like players that are on the board that you could actually use.
I guess he was he must have been injured during camp or something.
Well, yeah, he was. He started off on the PUP list.
Ah, okay.
The physically unable to
No, that's a good
perform.
pick by you. Hopefully he'll pop off in the coming weeks.
I was like, dude, he's going to be back in like week 5. Why has no one picked him? Like, because I had the same thinking for Jordan Addison. Where I was going to take Addison.
Yeah, because he's suspended.
Because he's suspended for the first 4 games, but then he's going to come back and he's going to be very useful to any playoff push for any fantasy team. And I was like, dude, why don't I draft Jordan Addison? Then J-Mac picked him right before me. I was like, shit.
It's those late round picks. In one of my leagues, someone dropped Xavier Worthy after he got injured. I was like, dude,
what?
You're an idiot. So I picked him up almost immediately. I was like, what an idiot.
Yeah, that's really stupid. That would be like someone dropping Rashi Rice after the suspension came down. Like, bro, don't drop him. You just wait.
He's still good.
You just wait for a couple of weeks. Like, you do realize the season is, especially the fantasy season, is 15 weeks. So if he misses 6, you still have him for more than 50% of the weeks ahead.
And if you make the playoffs, you still have him for 3 to 4 more weeks.
Yeah, so one of the pro drafting tips to anyone fantasy out there, whenever you're doing your draft and there's someone that's hurt in training camp that's expected to come back like week 4 or week 5, don't forget about them. Because I feel like a lot of people just completely forget those players like exist because they see the draft board in front of them and they see all the names and they're not thinking like, oh, who's hurt?
Yeah.
So that's
they
one
see
thing.
Injuries and get all scared.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to keep an eye out for because it's not. I mean, it's not like Godwin's injury was like detrimental. He dislocated his ankle.
Yeah, it's not like he tore his ACL.
Yeah, like he dislocated his ankle. He's gonna come back this year and he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be just as good as Chris Godwin was last year. Except now there's Emeka Egbuka that's just probably going to take a little bit of targets away from him. But this is stuff that, people just look over, Like, always make sure when you're going through your draft process that you know who's injured and you know when they're coming back. Because guarantee you, everyone else in your league does not know that. And the fact that you will is an advantage.
Yeah, that's a pro tip right there.
Information in fantasy is advantage, and you don't share that information with other players unless you absolutely have to, like with other players in your league. But speaking of fantasy, you've got a little list. Do you want to get to that before we get into Phillies?
Let's get to my my list. So I made a list. I got fantasy starts and sits.
So
I got some people that I want to start and some people that I
are we going to be like
sitting.
Comparing these? Like, are we going to be comparing players on the list, or are you just going name by name?
I'll give you these players that I wrote down, and I guess you can take my opinion on them or make a comment. All right, so the first player I have, and we just talked about him, is going to be Ibuka.
Okay.
I think Ibuka is going to have a good game. You know, obviously, if Godwin's going to be on a snap count, like you said, he's most likely going to be guarded by Dory Jackson.
Well, with no Evans, I don't know, because I don't know if they're going to be.
I don't know if they're going to do
exclusively on the outside.
I don't know if they're going to do Godwin on Quinyon or what. So if there's a chance that he's guarded by Dory Jackson, then like 100%, dude, go for Emeka Ibuka. If you bet, I say he gets a touchdown. Anytime touchdown scorer Emeka Ibuka, start him in fantasy. I think he's going to have a good week.
Even if he is going up against Quinyon, which I'm not entirely sure who he's going to be going up against, just because I have no idea how Fangio wants to play this, you know? That's going to be something that definitely comes into the fantasy evaluation process. But I think that he is probably a must start just from here going forward, especially with Mike Evans being out.
Yeah, he's had a good season so far.
And Godwin coming back from injury, just because he's clearly going to be the guy that's going to get targeted the most. It's not like Cade Otton's going to be getting a significant increase in target volume. Godwin's going to be on a snap count. He's probably only going to be out there for about 15 plays. So that leaves Egbuka and Miller as like the two notable wide receivers, other than Godwin coming back from injury, to actually consider starting against this secondary. If that's the case, you kind of have to go with the guy that's the number one option in that case, and that is Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty obvious for me.
100% start him, probably 100% start the entire rest of the season going forward, I'm going to say.
All right, yeah, I think I like that take. So the next player I have is most likely going to be the new wide receiver 1 for the Cowboys, George Pickens. With Lamb getting hurt, there's a possibility that they said he might go on IR. So if he goes on IR, you're missing 4 games of Lamb, and he's easily a top 3 receiver in the National Football League.
Yes.
So,
and I agree with you there with Pickens, but also something to keep out for. If he's going to be out for multiple weeks, give Kevontae Turpin a look.
Yeah, Kevontae Turpin is sneaky good. He's got speed.
He's crafty, he's small, he's shifty, he's agile, he's able to make people miss. He's a great return man.
He's very good on return, man.
So if they're able to get him the ball in space without CeeDee Lamb, because they like to do that a lot with CeeDee Lamb, just get him the ball in space, get a screen to him, get something short to him, and just let him run. If they're going to use Kevontae Turpin in a similar type of style with CeeDee Lamb out, definitely someone to keep an eye on the waiver wire in your league, because I guarantee you he's not on most rosters.
No one's picking up Kevontae Turpin.
Yeah,
because if they see him as a kick and punt returner, they're going to, why am I going to pick up a kick and punt returner?
Plus the increased injury risk on people that are kick and punt returners, you know. You always see people like that get hurt.
I think Turpin got injured at one point.
Yeah, last year he was. So definitely something to keep your eye on going forward. And Pickens is definitely someone that could elevate to a wide receiver 1 fantasy role, even though he's, you know, the wide receiver 1 like on the team. But I don't know. I really don't have too much. Like, I don't have absolute faith in Pickens just because I see, like, the talent and the potential that's there, but he's never really been able to put it all together production-wise outside of the one season he had in Pittsburgh, I feel like. So
it's like hit or miss, really.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely expect him to probably getting around 12 points a game.
Yeah, right now
CD's
he's projected at 15.
So low end would probably be you're expecting at least 12 a game from him, with maybe the potential for him to get up to 18 to 20. But
Anything is possible.
I mean, they do like to. One of the big things that made that offense so great, though, was the fact that they were able to work the ball through CeeDee Lamb so much. So if he's not there, I don't know how gigantic of an effect that's going to have on the entire offense.
Especially with Dak.
Right. And it's not like Dak is a world beater out there. He's pretty reliant on the weapons that he has around him. So I don't agree 100%, but yes, definitely start him this week.
All right. And for my last starting pick, it's not going to be a player. It's going to be a defense.
Okay.
If you see that Broncos defense is available, pick them up. Okay. They are playing Cincinnati, and the quarterback for Cincinnati, Jake Browning, has 5 interceptions through 2 games, and that was only one start. He came in for injury Joe Burrow. So you're looking at maybe 1.5 games he's played and already 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
I think that the Broncos get a couple picks that game.
Now, is that game in Denver?
I think it is in Cincinnati.
Okay, it's in Cincinnati.
I know it's a Monday night game.
Okay. Now, I do agree. Broncos probably a very good streaming option defense this week going forward. I don't really know how many people out there are like people that really have one defense throughout the entire season.
Yeah,
most of the time just
most of the time
streamline.
you pick defenses either on bye weeks or bye matchups.
So definitely someone to consider for this week. I don't know what the Broncos schedule is going forward, but for this week, I could see them being a start, especially because just without Joe Burrow, it's going to be real. Even Chase Brown had a bad game last week.
I can't trust the Bengals anymore.
So if he's not going to be out there, that kind of throws a wrench into their entire offense to the point where even the running game had a hard time getting going last week. So almost anyone on that Cincinnati Bengals offense, except for probably Jamar Chase, is going to be very risky going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
So for that case alone,
I'm starting Denver's defense.
Yeah, definitely a good option.
And I'm going to have 2 sits here.
Okay.
My first sit is going to be a player that I've wanted to get off my fantasy team for a while. You probably know who it is. It's T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. So I've had Higgins on my team before, and Higgins is one of those players where he is completely boom or bust. He could have 4 to 5 points one game for you and then pop off for 25 the next.
I mean, he didn't look good in the games that that Jake Browning has played with.
No.
He hasn't looked good. He's only averaging 35 a game.
Really, the only one that's going to look good is going to be Jamar Chase whenever Browning is the active quarterback. So
yeah, and obviously
Jamar's
getting most of the targets.
Yeah.
T will get you a touchdown here and there, but I mean, there's way better wide receiver options out there on the market.
100%.
The fantasy market. So my next sit is going to be, this was a little bit of a one-hit wonder last week, but Trey Tucker of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Now, not a one-hit wonder. I like that. And reason why I like that, week 1, he had a big week. Well, not big week, but he had a pretty productive week in week 1. I believe he had somewhere around 13 to 14 points in week 1. Week 2, I believe, was a bit of a down week for him, as well as week 3. But one thing that's very nice about him is that he was on the field for 78% of the snaps last week.
And he had a fantastic game.
Yeah. And he's always, even last year, towards the end of the season last year, you started to see him come on a little bit. He had, I believe, 3 games last year out of the final 5 where he had over 15 fantasy points. And with, Jacoby Myers being out of this lineup.
I think Jacoby Myers is expected to come back for their game against the Bears.
Okay. Even with him still in the lineup, Trey Tucker is probably going to get a couple of chances to catch some deep balls. He's also going to get, he's getting about 5 targets a game, even when Jacoby Myers is still in there. Now, I don't know if any of that has to do with the fact that Bowers has been banged up the past 2 weeks, but
Yeah, because Bowers hasn't played recently.
I definitely do like the addition of Trey Tucker to your team, 100%.
I just don't think he's a starting role. He might be a bench piece or like a flex option for maybe someone that's injured or someone's got a bye week, but
he could. And who do they go up against this week?
Chicago.
Oh yeah, Chicago, and they don't really have a great defense. So Trey Tucker could slide in to, flex spot, potentially wide receiver 2 if, out of necessity.
You have an injury.
Yeah. But going forward, definitely should be a guy that is at least rostered in your league. And if he's not, probably go pick him up. Because if there's ever a time where Jacoby Myers goes down for a game or 2 this year,
he's going to be the wide receiver 1.
Trey Tucker's going to get a lot of looks in that game, and he's probably going to get a decent amount of looks even when Jacoby Myers is in the game. So he'll be a worthy addition to basically any team out there, especially if you're a team that is, as you said, dealing with injuries or just some, underperformance of maybe some players through the first couple of weeks. People like, I'm trying to think who hasn't had a great first 4 weeks wide receiver wise. I was going to say A.J. Brown, but last week he came alive. But, Marvin Harrison, up until last night,
up until Thursday night, Marvin Harrison.
Nico Collins has been reliant on some late game heroics
and that's just
to get
that's just
points.
C.J. Stroud being buns.
So definitely someone to consider putting in your starting lineup. I like him in the starting lineup this week, but
maybe in the coming weeks based on different types of matchups.
Yeah, definitely someone that should be at least on your bench. If he's on the waiver wire in your league, I highly recommend picking him up.
Yeah, but his value has gone up tremendously.
Yeah.
So, all right. So those were all my sits, and if it's week 4 and you still have Tua as your starting quarterback, what the hell's wrong with you?
What, Tua Tagovailoa?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you want to move on to the Phillies here?
Yeah, let's do some Phillies.
All right, so after dropping the series to the Diamondbacks, Phillies clinched the 2nd seed in the NL and locked up, home field advantage.
They got the home field advantage. They will be
got the bye,
playing their first playoff game Saturday the 4th against a team to be determined at Citizens Bank Park.
Basically, whoever is going to be the winner of the Dodgers series, whoever the Dodgers face, still unclear at this point.
Unclear. The Phillies still have a chance at the 1 seed if the Brewers lose their last 3 and the Phillies sweep the Twins. There's a chance, but highly unlikely.
Yeah, highly unlikely that the Brewers are going to lose the last 3 games of the season to the Cincinnati Reds. Even though they're not really playing for anything, even if, as soon as they get 1 win, they don't need to play for anything.
Yeah, once they get that 1 win, they secure the 1 seed.
Right, so you might see Cincinnati win 2 games. Probably not going to win all 3, though.
Yeah,
I would find that to be highly unlikely.
If the Reds win 2 and the Mets lose 2, I believe that the Reds will be in the postseason, so...
Well, actually, it's just 1, because the Reds hold the tiebreaker. So if the Reds
that is true, yeah,
and the Mets
Reds
are tied,
tiebreaker, yeah.
Reds will end up making it in. So if the Mets lose to
2 out of
Miami,
3 to the Miami Marlins,
and Cincinnati wins 2 out of 3,
the Reds are going to be in the postseason.
Yeah, all you need is the Reds to pick up 1 win when the Mets lose to even them up, and as long as they stay even, the Reds are going to end up sneaking their way into the postseason.
Yeah, who knows what could happen there? It could be very interesting come this last weekend of the season.
Even though the Diamondbacks are still technically in it, their last 3 games are against the Padres. I don't expect them to take all 3 games against the Padres.
Are still playing for that 4th seed over the Cubs.
So basically, as soon as they lose, they're out of it, and they're probably going to get knocked out of it. If not tonight, the following night. I don't see a scenario where last day of the season, the Diamondbacks are in a position to take over that last wild card
Yeah,
spot.
me too.
It's basically between Cincinnati and the Mets at this point, and I don't really think it's going to matter too much either way because I don't think either of those teams are going to get past the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, and I agree too. Unless
So-
one of them goes super hot. But
Yeah.
the Mets have been playing super cold up until, ever since like June, they've been playing
Yeah, Mets have been just a disaster.
a disaster. Yeah, the Reds have been playing much better, but
I would probably be more intrigued by a Reds-Dodgers series than a Mets-Dodgers series.
we've already seen Mets-Dodgers last season.
And not only that, I think Cincinnati has a much better pitching rotation. They have much better
Yeah, I do like their
matchup-wise.
I do like their pitching.
They got
Yeah.
Andrew Abbott, who
Abbott, Green,
has been great.
Lodolo.
Yep, they got Green, Lodolo. That's a solid 3 right there to go into the postseason.
Exactly, for a
So,
wild card series.
if they're able to, maybe steal one against LA, and who knows, anything could happen in that final game of the series. As long as they're able to steal one game from LA, you get to that final game, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Yeah,
Right.
it's the postseason. So
And Abbott has been fantastic all year. Left-handed pitcher. Going to be an equalizer for all the left-handers in that lineup with Shohei and Freeman. And who else is a lefty in that lineup? I know the 2 big ones is Shohei and Freddie Freeman.
Max Muncy.
Yeah, Muncy. I think everyone else is right-handed, though.
Yeah,
Mookie's right-handed.
Mookie's right-handed. Yep.
Smith's right-handed. Pages is right-handed. Right? Pages is right-handed, isn't he?
Yeah, Pages is
Yeah,
right-handed.
he's right-handed. So, having Abbott out there to potentially stifle Shohei and Freddie Freeman in whatever game he pitches in could definitely allow Cincinnati to steal that game. But definitely don't think they're actually going to win, even though I think that they're probably the better matchup, especially for a baseball standpoint. They're probably not going to get past the Dodgers, and it's most likely going to end up being Phillies Dodgers in the NLDS.
Yeah, I agree with that too. So, looking on the Phillies and Marlins series, Phillies look pretty good Thursday night.
Yeah.
Getting a shutout, getting 5 scoreless from Walker Buehler. Did have a little bit of command issues in the first 2 innings to begin with, but besides that, really good outing. And then you had good innings from
Honestly,
Taijuan Walker.
Buehler probably could have went a little bit longer.
He could have if it wasn't for his pitch count.
Yeah.
And then you had a couple good innings from Walker.
Mm-hmm.
You had Strom and then Robertson to close it out.
Yeah, after that putrid rain delay.
After that rain delay.
Where there's been a lot of rain delays, I feel like, for the Phillies in the past week.
Yeah.
There's been like
I
3,
swear,
hasn't there?
I swear, usually when it's like the last week of the season, that's when all the rain comes. I'm like, dude, what the heck? We're just trying to get these games done, and now all of a sudden the rain wants to come in.
So they've been dealing with a lot of rain, but it hasn't really seemed to, really put a slow in their step at all.
No, yeah. They've been playing their best baseball down the stretch.
Yeah. One thing, though, that is something to definitely keep an eye on is bullpen was a little shaky over the Diamondback series. And
Yeah, I do say that. And also the Diamondbacks kind of own us in Arizona.
Yeah. So that's just something to, keep an eye on for this last series against the Twins. You want to make sure that bullpen still looks sharp. It would be nice if you could get Kerkering to actually have a successful outing.
Yeah,
But-
we're going to need a lot from him to come in the
Yeah.
postseason.
It was nice to see Robertson have that good inning last
Robertson
night.
having a good inning last night.
But you're gonna need a right-handed pitcher at some point from your bullpen, and
It's probably going to be either
Kerkering or Robinson.
Walker, or Kerkering. It's going to be one of those guys that's high leverage.
yeah, and I feel comfortable with the left-handers that are the high leverage. I feel comfortable with Strom. Feel comfortable with
Tanner
Banks. And besides those 2, not really anyone else. I mean, I guess if you want to throw Tim Mays on there, but he's not going to be high leverage.
Yeah, I think he's just in a little bit of mop up here and there. But
Yeah. So I'm comfortable with the lefties that they got, but it's the righties that have been having some shaky outings recently. Even Duran has been a little shaky recently.
yeah, giving up that home run to tie it. That was a meatball right down the plate. But
Yeah,
you have to
and
limit that during the postseason, especially with his curveball
yeah,
and the split too.
you can't be throwing it right down the middle of the plate.
Even in the postseason, like who knows who can hit 100 and who can't.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going up against teams in the postseason, you got to expect everyone's going to be able to hit high velocity on the other team, or will at least have the capability of luck to run into one. So you got to have a better fastball location than just right down the middle.
And I'm
Doesn't matter how
sure
hard you're
he'll be
throwing it.
working on his stuff during that
Oh yeah.
off week that they get as they prepare for the division series.
Now, only 3 games left. Kyle Schwarber is at 56 home runs.
So he needs 3 games for 3 home runs. So you get a home.
He gets
we're looking at a home run a game, but with Schwarber's power, obviously he has the potential to hit 3 in a game.
He's definitely got the potential, and even if he doesn't get one tonight, he's got the potential to have a 2-homer game in him. So he can still get there.
And then a homer on the final Sunday of the regular season.
He could still get there.
He could still get there, yeah.
He could. I definitely think he's going to tie it at least. I don't know if he breaks it. As much as I want him to break it, don't know if he's.
Would be cool to see him tie it,
able to.
But it all comes down to. It all comes down to these final 3 games. Rob Thompson said he's going to let him play.
Yeah, and on the off chance that he could get 4 over the next couple of games, if he could get 4, get to 60 home runs.
60 home runs, yeah.
You have him at 60 home runs. Probably, if he's got 60 home runs and he's got 136 RBIs right now, I expect him to be somewhere around 150 RBIs if he gets to 60 home runs.
Maybe 145.
So if he gets to 60 and 150 on the team that gets the first round bye, that was the team that was the earliest to clinch their division, I feel like that kind of locks up MVP for Kyle Schwarber if he's able to do that.
I do. That is a strong case for MVP. I don't know.
Like 60 and 150. There's not a lot of seasons that are out there.
I know. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what they're about to do, though, especially with Ohtani back on the mound and pitching.
Yeah.
He's been pitching pretty solid recently.
I mean, if he gets 60 and 150, there's I don't see any way that you couldn't give it to Kyle Schwarber, because that is season that's probably only happened about 10 times in the majors.
Yeah, like 60 home runs is very uncommon.
There's only been 4 guys total to get to 60 home runs in a season. Aaron Judge, Cal Raleigh now.
Cal just hit it.
Mark McGwire, yep. Barry Bonds, right?
Barry Bonds. I think Roger Maris got to 61.
Yes, so 5, actually. My bad. Not 4, 5.
Like 60 home runs is, not an easy task.
Yeah,
so.
And I mean,
they gave it to Ryan Howard for hitting 58.
Cal hitting 60 probably locked up AL MVP, especially if he gets 1 or 2 more and ties Judge at 62.
Yeah, or if he gets 3 and breaks the record.
Yeah, that would be absolutely insane. So he probably has locked it up for his home run production. If Schwarber is able to hit 3 or 4 more home runs, get to 60, that clean 60, that clean 150 number,
he gets that MVP.
I think he locks up that MVP.
Yeah, I strongly agree with you.
Yeah, so he definitely still has a shot. And the other thing to look, to really be watching, because it doesn't really matter if they win these games over the next 3 days, it's going to be if Trey Turner can get the batting title.
Yeah, if Trey Turner is actually going to play.
Yeah, if he can
Dave
come back.
Dombrowski went on WIP and said that there's a possibility he might not play versus the Twins, but he will for sure be activated for the postseason.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be activated for the first round of the postseason.
We know he's good for the postseason. He's been hitting off of minor league pitchers and running and doing, fielding drills, so...
Now, I'm not entirely sure if him missing these 3 games would mess up his eligibility for getting the batting title. But it does potentially open the door for someone else to grab it if he doesn't play these final 3 games. If he does actually win the batting title, this would be the first time since 1958 that the Phillies would have someone that won the batting title, and Richie Ashburn was the last player to do it.
Oh, wow.
And it would only be...
It's been almost like 70 years.
It would only be the 5th time ever that a Philly has won the batting title.
So you're looking at Nico Horner's got a 299 average right now, and Trey's got a 305. So unless Nico Horner smacks a couple of hits for the final weekend of the season, then Trey's pretty much got the batting title all but secured.
All right, well, that's good to hear, because that would be awesome to see, first Philly since 1958 to win a batting title. That is pretty significant, He's going to be over 300 hitter, over 200 hits. That's just not something that you see.
Yeah, not something you see that happen from a Phillies hitter. So.
Especially in today's day of baseball, there's not a whole lot of guys out there that are getting 200 hits a season.
It's mainly about power.
Yeah, so if he's able to, lock up that batting title, that would be a nice little accolade for him. It'd be another little trophy that the Phillies can put in their the little trophy case. But even if he can't, what you're saying is you're going to need basically a pretty great performance from Nico Horner to take it away from him.
Pretty much.
So pretty comfortable he's going to have that locked up. It definitely is something to watch for.
I believe so too. And now another player I'm going to talk about is Alec Boehm. Because since coming off the injured list, he's been hitting 500.
Fantastic.
6-game hitting streak, been playing fantastic since coming off. And, I mean, this is just what you want to see for the postseason. Him hitting like this. It's not home runs, but he's getting base hits and RBIs and doubles.
And, I mean, not only is he hitting 13 for 26, but 5 out of those 6 games that he's played in have all been multi-hit games.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Extra base hits.
So he's getting it done with the fact that he's driving runners in. He's got 6 RBIs over these 6 games, so he's driving in a run a game. He's got 2 home runs over the 6 games, so his swing is obviously looking healthy. His swing is obviously, in a much better spot. And you always know he's going to come up and slap singles and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that's what he's here for.
But the fact that he's been able to, I believe, have 4 or 5 extra base hits out of the 13 hits that he's had shows that he's really seeing the ball and driving the ball really, really well right now, which is exactly what you need from someone that you're probably going to elevate in the lineup, because you're not going to have Boehm hitting 7th or 8th most likely in this playoff lineup.
No, you might have him hitting 4th or 5th.
Exactly.
'Cause I don't know what they're going to do with Harrison Bader.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to have him at 4 or 5 or 6, or I don't know how they're going to make that work out.
I have no idea. You want to do a little exercise of what you think the Phillies lineup's going to be?
I think it's going to be Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, your main 3 guys.
Yep. And then
have
what happens after that?
Alec Boehm at 4.
Okay.
And then maybe Harrison Bader 5 with JT at 6. And then you got...
That's 3 righties in a row, though.
That's 3 righties in a row, though. So
Rob doesn't like to do that.
I know. Maybe you have...
So who
Max Kepler hitting 6th, or Brandon Marsh hitting 6th.
What about Marsh hitting 5th?
Yeah, that's honestly better. You have Marsh hitting 5th versus a righty, and then you have Bader hitting 5th versus a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
You got JT 6th because he's obviously going to play every single minute of the postseason.
Yep.
You got Castellanos or Kepler batting 7th.
Now, do you consider maybe bumping down JT to 7 or 8 in the lineup just to give him maybe less to do with the bat so he can focus more?
I feel like JT at 6 is fine.
Okay.
And then you got, I said 7, Castellanos and Kepler. And then, who else am I missing?
Second base.
Second base, yeah.
You're missing
so I
Stott.
think Bryson Stott will bat either 8th or 9th.
All right. And then who's rounding it out for you? You had Bader already, and you mentioned Marsh, Kepler, Casty. Who did you not mention so far yet?
I don't know. So I guess, versus a righty, they're going to have to do maybe, Kepler 7th, Bader 8th, Stott 9. Or versus a lefty, they're going to do Castellanos 7.
It's just, it's hard to say because I have no idea, as you said, where they're going to put Bader in this lineup and where they're going to put Marsh either.
The lineup construction is going to be, a test for Rob Thompson since he's getting back his best hitter Well,
Like,
not Kyle Schwarber, but he's getting back his guy who's getting him on base.
yeah, like I feel like Bader could hit anywhere in between 1 and 6.
He can, yeah.
Or he could hit anywhere between 5 and 8.
Like I've seen people putting Bryce at 4. I was like, I mean, Bryce at 4 doesn't seem bad, but
Yeah, but I mean, he's been in that 3 hole for forever now.
yeah, the year they made the World Series, he batted 4th every single game.
Okay, that was still with Schwarber hitting leadoff.
That
though.
was with Schwarber hitting leadoff, and then they had Reese and JT.
Yeah, so I think I'm probably more along the lines that you are, where top 3 is probably going to be Turner, Schwarber, Harper, and then, so let's see, if it's against a right-handed pitcher, then I don't imagine they're going to have 3 lefties in a row, even though it might be beneficial.
It might be beneficial,
in a row in that case, but I still don't see Thompson being able to do 3 lefties in a row. So because of that, against a righty, I'm going to say Bohm hits 4th. I'm going to say Marsh hits 5th, JT 6, Bader 7.
Kepler 8.
I don't know if, I guess Kepler 8 and then Stott 9.
Yeah, I guess. Because, I mean, if you're facing a righty, you're going to be facing back-to-back lefties. And they're going to...
Yeah.
When you bring in a lefty, they're just going to take... They're probably just going to take them out for pinch hitters anyways.
And then against the lefty, top 3 is going to stay the same in Turner, Schwarber and Harper.
Schwarber has the most home runs off a left-handed pitcher this year at 23.
And if they have Bohm in the 4 spot against the righty, I assume Bohm's probably going to stay in the 4 spot against the lefty. So I'm going to go Bohm 4.
Bader 5?
I think I might go JT 5.
JT 5, Bader 6, maybe?
I was thinking JT 5 and then have Castellanos 6, Bader 7, Stott 8, just to switch up the righties. And then the 9th would be... Who have I not mentioned in this scenario?
Emuna Sosa?
Kepler, Bader. Oh, the last outfielder. Because I said Kepler and Bader, right?
Oh, yeah.
So last outfielder.
Probably Marsh.
Against the lefty? Or do you think it would be Dub-Dubs?
Probably Marsh.
All right, so then Marsh hitting 9th against the lefty?
Yeah.
Probably not going to have Marsh hitting all the way in the 9 spot, so I'm going to say Marsh 8, Stott, keep him in the 9.
Okay.
And Stott will be your universal 9.
Yeah, I think that's what the postseason lineup's going to be like. Obviously, it's going to be, real challenging, but we'll see what the lineup card is game 1 for that Saturday.
And Red October is officially back.
Yeah, can't wait. If they get bounced in the first round, it's not going to be fun, but...
No, I don't see them getting bounced in the NLDS. I think
they're winning the whole damn thing.
I think that they're making it past the Dodgers at least.
They're winning the National League.
Honestly, if they face the Brewers in the NLCS...
We're beating them in 6 games.
Yeah, I see the Phillies coming out on
Phillies
top
are making the World Series and winning the World Series, and we are going to be... the team that has the Super Bowl champions and the World Series champions.
Now,
and the Sixers will get 30 wins.
We're both saying that the Phillies will make the World Series from the National League side. Who do you think makes it from the American League side?
I've had this in my head for a few days now. Seattle.
Really? You think it's the Mariners? So you think it's going to be coast to coast matchup?
I think that Seattle looks really good coming into the postseason. They just knocked off the Astros to win the division in what feels like a million years.
Swept them
they just
in
won,
Houston as well.
which is insane.
Yeah, not a lot of teams pull out the sweep in Houston. So I like where you're thinking. I like where your head's at, especially the fact they just locked up the 2 seeds, so they are also going to have a
They're
first round
get the
bye. I don't know if they're good enough to make it past Toronto. That's my only thing.
Yeah, Toronto's going to be a challenge. But who wins the division, Toronto or New York?
I think Toronto pulls it out. And New York ends up as the first wild card.
All right.
Which is going to be insane because they're going to be a wild card team with like 93 or 94 fucking wins.
Which is insane.
Which is goddamn nuts to me.
They're going to be playing either the Cleveland Guardians or the Tigers. Now, think about that, man. Think about the Tigers' collapse.
I know. The Tigers were at one point.
That's insane.
At one point, they were like 5 games ahead of everyone else, and now they are a wild card team that is
holding on for their life. They had
within danger of potentially not making the playoffs.
They had a 15.5 game lead at one point.
Yeah, and they could potentially miss the playoffs. They could miss the playoffs. They're having a Met collapse.
That's insane. That's literally an 07 Mets collapse right there.
It's the American League version of the Mets collapse.
Yeah, American League version of the Mets.
So
great way to put it.
But I like your pick, but I think I'm going to go Philadelphia and Toronto in the World Series.
I got Philadelphia and Seattle, but obviously the World Series is still a month away.
Hey, if it's Philadelphia and Seattle, doesn't matter who wins in that case. I'm going to be happy about it.
He's a Mariners fan, so...
So that would be the first World Series in Mariners history or the third World Series in Philadelphia Phillies history. Either way...
His mind will always be Phillies.
Either way, I'm going to be a happy fan.
His heart's always going to be Phillies, so... And one thing before we close this out is Edmundo Sosa coming off the injured list, talking about 3 home runs just out of nowhere.
Yeah, we didn't mention his 3 home run performance. That's almost egregious by us.
Fantastic, but, breaking the home run record.
Never would have expected that on a night where the Phillies have 8 home runs, you would be able to ask someone about the box score after the game. Who had the most home runs in that game? Oh yeah, Edmundo Sosa. Like, wait, what? Excuse me, Edmundo Sosa?
And then you have, what was it, 2 from Schwarber.
Yep, yeah, and then 2 from Schwarber, 1 from Stott.
1 from Stott, 1 from Otto Kemp, and then there was 1 else from...
I wrote it down. It was 1 from...
Oh, it was Alec Boehm. That's who it was.
Yep, yeah. Boom. So, I mean, hey, if they're able to smash home runs like that... Oh yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention before we wrap it up. Heading into the All-Star break, this team was in like the bottom 20 of home run and slug percentage. Now,
I did not know that.
I think now they're 8th in home run and they're 4th in slug percentage.
They've been hitting the ball like crazy now.
Just think about that. They were in the bottom 20 in the league in both home runs and slugging before the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, final total numbers, they're 8th in home runs and 4th in slugging.
Yeah, what an improvement.
What a freaking turnaround, dude. That is absolutely insane. Ricky Bottalico said that on the postgame on the postgame yesterday after watching the game, and I was like, there's no way he's right. And then I looked it up on Google, and the little Google AI thing told me, it was like, yeah, before the All-Star break, I think they were 25th in slug and they were 22nd in home runs. And now after the All-Star break, they're 8th in home runs and 4th in slugging,
they said on the post game, it was like, when the Phillies got bounced during last year, or it was the radio that said it.
May have been the radio.
I was driving home from the rain delay, and Greg Murphy was like, well, when the Phillies lost to the Mets, they weren't playing the best baseball in the second half. They were playing fantastic in the first half.
Yeah, they played very mediocre down the stretch last year.
And then now coming into this season, they're playing fantastic in the second half.
Yeah.
Overtaking the Mets and winning the division super early into the season.
Yeah. I mean, we said it. They were the first team to officially clinch their division. I mean, they built out their lead to, I think their division lead is like 13 games up on the Mets.
Yeah, something like that.
So, pretty impressive turnaround for a team that, at the All-Star break was, 3 games behind the Mets?
Behind the Mets coming into the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think they were 3 or 4 games behind the Mets.
The Mets in June had the best record in baseball now.
Yeah, and then they did what they always do. They met.
They met
it up.
They met it up.
That's one thing you can always count on is the Mets gonna met. They're always going to Met. And you don't need to worry about it.
Can't agree more.
Doesn't matter if they've got a $330 million payroll. Can't get over the fact that the Mets are going to Met.
I'm going to call it here then. We had a good time. Enjoyed talking about, the Eagles and the Phillies. Hope the Eagles come back to Philadelphia 4-0. I don't think they will, but, I said that for the Chiefs, and look what happened. They won, so
yeah,
it's going to be just a guessing game. So if we're back here 4-0, and next episode we'll see who the Phillies will play in the division series. We'll talk about it, and
I think they'll already start the division series, right?
Next time we're here, the division series starts next Saturday.
Oh, okay, next Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next time we're here, we'll
it'll
talk.
be about to start.
Yeah, it'll be about to start. We'll talk about the division series. We'll give our picks, and we'll also give our picks for that Eagles game that Sunday too. So if you guys enjoyed, give us a follow anywhere where you get your podcasts. Leave a comment if you like my fantasy picks or not. I'm doing them again next week. So
here, I'll come in with my own list next week.
Perfect.
For the
Perfect.
fantasy
All right,
as well.
Tyler's own list next episode. We'll see you guys then.